All right, just to start, let me put it in context. The Earth comprises of water because more than 2/3 of the planet Earth, or 71%, comprises of water, oceans, and also wetlands, lakes, and rivers, what we call internal waters, which led one of the earliest physicists to wonder, why do we call it planet Earth when it's full of so much water, when it's clearly ocean? Now, when you come closer now, you realize that the maritime domain, which is what we collectively refer that body of water to, is the livelihood or the cornerstone of the livelihood of humanity, its habitats, its resources, and accounts for transport routes for over 90% of global trade. The oceans connect us, makes distant nations neighbors, and the human population is concentrated near coasts. Approximately 60% of the human population lives within 100 kilometers of a body of water. The sea is also a very rich source of protein and a depository of immense wealth in terms of energy and also other natural resources. Now, let's get closer home. Africa. Africa is an island continent, and water covers 1/5. Africa covers 1/5 of the Earth, comprising both land and water, with a total length of coastlines ranging more than 39,000 kilometers. As you are aware, Africa is surrounded by the Mediterranean Sea to the north, both the Suez Canal and the Red Sea along the Sinai Peninsula to the northeast, and the Indian Ocean to the southeast, Atlantic Ocean to the west. So we can say that Africa is one big island continent. Now, when you get closer, you realize that Africa abuts some of the busiest shipping lanes of communication, transporting a lot of the natural resources across the world. If you look at our strategic position, we are smack between the oil-producing nations, for example, and the oil-consuming nations of the world. So we provide transportation lanes for all the essential products. Other than that, Africa has a lot of capacity in terms of natural resources. You're talking here fishing, you're talking tourism, regional and international trade, and the seas are also a major source of protein for us. So this represents a lot of opportunity for economic growth, particularly in the capacity to develop the blue economy because of those sectors that I've mentioned that are typically associated with blue growth. And this is of very strategic importance to the continent and provides us with opportunities to develop aquaculture, to develop shipping, that's maritime transport, coastal tourism, offshore oil and gas, energy mobilization, fisheries, very, very important, and many other economic related activities. If you look at the whole blue economy spectrum, it comprises of 87 different activities that we could do in order to secure food security, to secure wealth, to secure job opportunities. It is very unfortunate that while Africa is endowed with all those natural resources that I've mentioned, that are found along or near the coast, the story of the story of the continent's relationship with the oceans remains tragic, because it's one whose most dominant aspect is images of hundreds drowning as they try to reach Europe in overcrowded boats. I want to reiterate that there are immense opportunities for growth of our collective economy as a continent, but also the national economies, especially when you look at sectors like fisheries, sectors like tourism, maritime transport. That one we've not even tapped into. Offshore mining, among other opportunities. And this is even on a broader scale than the opportunities on land, the land economics have given us so far. Now, if I may start on the port and shipping sector, like I said, we've barely scratched the surface. We've got maritime transport corridors that are historical in nature, that served the time when a lot of Africa was colonized. And out of that, we came up with 16 corridors. But of course, that served the interests of our colonizers. We've not improved on those ones, which means, therefore, because they were geared towards extracting a lot of natural resources from the continent to the manufacturing or the industrialization of the West, it means that we do not ourselves, as a continent comprising of many countries, trade with each other. And that represents the biggest loss of opportunities for us. In the resultant environment, therefore, it means that we only have not more than 3% of trade amongst ourselves in terms of world volumes. But because of the discovery of a lot of minerals, it means that African shipping can be on an upward trend. And one of the opportunities, like I said, lies in modernization of ports, creation of sub-regional maritime shipping companies, including shipping lines, so that we stop over-reliance on foreign shipping lines to carry product, because then they dictate the routes that they take. And they also impact on how well we are able to trade with one another. It also opens or implies a latent opportunities in cabotage, being able to participate in the shipping industry ourselves, with and among one another. And when we look at the AFCTA free trade area that was signed by our leaders not long ago, this will rely a lot on our capacity to trade with each other. And therefore, this is urgently required. Fisheries production from Africa stands at 10 million tons. And we have not been able to develop value addition around that fisheries because it remains artisanal. We have not been able to venture into industrial or semi-industrial fisheries, and therefore we are not able to tap into this. And what we are being told is that if we are able to invest in this to train our people, then we should be able to tap into much more, not just for food security, but also for wealth creation. And because of governance issues, not being able to monitor, to create surveillance systems, we are suffering from overfishing by foreign fleets, overcapacity, and also, like I said, poor governance, which threatens the big potential of this fisheries sector. Another sector related is aquaculture, being able to grow or to being able to invest in controlled agricultural products from the water resources. And this is also an area where we can invest in. Blue energy, that's another area, and ocean mining. But the investments that are needed are also quite big, quite a lot. But I believe that there is an opportunity to partner and to get with the right kind of governance, then to bring the right kind of partnerships and investments into those areas. Coastal tourism, also with a big potential, and particularly for employment and also investment